this is for our feature for adaptive behavioral segmentation. We've had this feature in the past, but we made it a lot easier for you to use. So we're excited to show you how this new tool looks like now. What we're going to cover in these 30 minutes is a quick overview of the tool and then just an example use case. Second, I'm just going to run you through a quick training within Predictive, and then you can also ask questions and answers as well. You can actually ask questions, and during the training, there is a Q&A feature in Zoom. So please feel free to use that if you don't want to forget the question. So you can add your question in there, and then Sharon will go through the questions after the training portion. So let's get started. So adaptive behavioral segmentation, just to kind of introduce you to this feature, is really a way for you to send emails based on the recipient's behavior. So instead of just sending your email to everyone in your campaign, you can choose to just send to a selected group. And our predictive system will automatically change who to send the email to based on their behavior. So for example, if you send the first email to everyone, some people will open the email, some will click, and some will not even open the email. So with adaptive behavioral segmentations, you can choose to send your email just to a specific group. So if the second email should just go out to people who never opened the first email, you can do that. Or you can create an email that only goes out to people who opened but didn't actually click. And then the third option is that you can send emails to people that have clicked but didn't complete. Again, completing from a campaign really means that they've accomplished a goal of the campaign. So for example, if your goal of a campaign is for them to purchase a specific product, so if they don't purchase that product, they will never be marked as completed. But if they end up purchasing a product, you can mark them as completed, or the system automatically marks them as completed. And also one other thing to note is that adaptive behavioral segmentation always always looks at the previous email edition that was sent. So it only sends to that specific group based on the behavior of the previous edition. So it doesn't go back like 2 or 3 edition. It just looks at the last one that you sent. So let's look at a quick example and use case where you would be using ABS, which we call for a short version for adaptive behavioral segmentation. So let's say you're a nonprofit and you'd like to do a fundraising campaign. So obviously for a fundraising campaign, some people be interested in donating right away. Some people might take a little bit more time to get them to donate. So let's say your first email goes out, you ask them to help raise some money. If the recipient never opens the email, maybe they're not interested in that specific subject line, because that means that they've never even seen your email content. So one thing that you could do is just change your subject line to a different subject line that might get them to open. So maybe in the second email to just that specific group, you could say, "We're so close, help us reach our goal." Then also another example, so if the recipient opens that first email but does not click, that might mean that they are interested, but then in the subject line, but then once they saw the content, they might have lost interest or something. They changed their minds. So a good thing to for that group is then to change the email content and maybe add different links to different content, or tell them a different reason why you want to make an impact now, specifically for this fundraising campaign email. And then third, if a recipient clicks but doesn't donate, so they don't complete the goal of the campaign, which is having them donate, maybe you want to change the content again on them, and tell them how much their donation will make an impact, or even like changing colors of your CTA buttons with your call to action buttons can make a huge difference. So just kind of playing around and seeing what might help you to get them to donate, or to complete the action, to complete the goal of the campaign will be a great idea. Also to mention, you can select two groups at once. So if you want to send um, the same email for people who opened and clicked, you can do that. So you can, in our new tool, you can mark those two groups together. So you don't have to send a separate email for each group. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about just how the adaptive segmentation works, or this example that I just reviewed. But yeah, let's go into a quick training within Predictive so that it will be even more clear how you can use adaptive behavioral segmentation. So here I am in Salesforce, and as you can see, I'm in a campaign. Here I have fundraisers who haven't reached to the $2,000 goal yet. So you're just adding people to a campaign, which is all the same. Everything is the same. What is different, or with adaptive behavioral segmentation, really starts in the email addition section. So here, for example, I already started some kind of flow. So for example, the first email will go to everyone. Then I have an email that only goes to people who who didn't open the email. So I'm changing the subject line. And the third is the email for people who opened but didn't click. So let me just go into the second one, because the first email goes out to everyone. It's going to be the same. That's never going to change. But the second one, that's where you can start making some changes or select a different or a specific group. So here in the second edition, I have this email that will only go to people who haven't opened. So the smartest thing to do is to not waste any of your time. It's just purely changing the subject line. So here, the way you create those segmentations is if you go into check send settings, you will have here a tab down below that says segmentation. So once you click segmentation, you can choose to send to a behavioral segment. So here I have now selected members who did not open the most recent edition sent to them. So this email will only go to people who did not open the previous edition. As I said, you can select multiple. If you select all, then you could just send to all members, but you can select multiple groups at once if you'd like to. So you can then click save, and then it will update eMaker, and it will show here in the details that it's only sending to people who did not open this previous edition. So yeah, so this is kind of how you set up the adaptive behavioral segmentation. Obviously, you can then create more emails and change the specific groups that you'd like to send it to. So in the third one, for example, it's people who opened but didn't click the email. So what you would do here is you would just change the segmentation group. So if I go into check send settings, you would just change that segmentation group to open but did not click the previous edition. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We've had customer using it for already over a year and it works all perfectly. So it's pretty easy to use and it will always show you here what group this email is going out to. Sharon, do you have like any additions in terms of like ABS or what you've seen that customers really ask when using this tool?
I think maybe one question people come up with is, how do I reset everyone? And that really is done by doing a send to all. So if you have kind of gone down the path of sending a lot of did not open emails and you're getting that group kind of whittled down, and you want to just, maybe you have a big announcement to make to everyone and you want to set everyone back to the sent level, like they just received all the same email and you want to maybe start recycling that content. What you can do is do a send to all, and then everyone will be, for at least a minute, they'll be in the did not open status, and then you can start resegmenting them from there with that content.
Yeah, that's a really good addition. Great. And then let's just go through some of the questions we've received. Sharon, do you want to go through the Q&As that came in?
Sure, yeah. Okay. Can you give a recommendation for days between emails in a drip campaign, or when to stop sending to someone? Like, I'm assuming someone who has not opened a message. Do you have recommendations for that, Anita?
When someone has not opened a message?
Maybe they've sent like many messages to the person every week or something. I think that's what it means to stop sending to them, to take them out of
Yeah,
the campaign.
yeah, I think I would just stop sending to them if they haven't like opened like several emails, like 3 or 4 emails in the past. It kind of depends on the campaign, how many times you want to reach out to.
Okay, so maybe 3 or 4 is a rule of thumb, but
Yeah.
depends on the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And what
Yeah.
about days in between emails in a drip?
Well, typically, on average, people wait about 3 days to send the next email. But again, it really depends on the type of email that you send. So, maybe asking for a donation, like asking right like 3 days after you just asked them for a donation might be a little bit aggressive. So it definitely depends. If you're asking for people to, purchase a product or, when they show interest in your product, 3 days makes a lot of sense, but it really depends on the campaign and the goal of the campaign.
That makes sense. A question, how do you specify the completed condition? So I think we mean like, how do you decide what will make a person be completed so that you can exclude them?
Mm. Yeah, do you want to take that or should I answer that?
I can take that one. So you can, in a campaign with Predictive, you can automatically say, for example, if there's a link that's your call to action and you want to just say, as long as someone's clicked this link, like as long as they viewed the video that we wanted to show them by clicking this link. We want to call them completed because they've done the thing that we were trying to get them to do. So what you can do is when you send out your email, you can designate a link within your email to be a completion link. Oh, good. And Anita's opening the dashboard, the predictive dashboard, to show you where that's set.
Oh, I need to
That's,
open a different campaign because I haven't sent it yet. I think this one probably will have.
yeah. And you do have to send a message out that includes the link, and someone has to click that link in a test message just so that Predictive can pick up on the specific link you're going to tag, and then you'll see it here. And you can set any link or multiple links as your completion link. So that's the simple automated way of doing that with Predictive. Sometimes you'll want to use something like a campaign flow to complete people if you're doing an action other than clicking a link, such as sometimes we've had customers who will say if the person has donated within the last 30 days, we will mark them as completed in our outreach campaign in December because they've already donated. We don't want to keep asking them for a donation. So you'll set up a campaign flow that says if their donations in the last 30 days is greater than 0, we will mark them as complete, and that will mute all of the messages from this campaign for them going forward.
Yeah, for example, here in this campaign, really the goal was for fundraisers to get to that $2,000 goal mark. So once they get to that $2,000 goal mark, they completed the goal of the campaign, and you can use campaign flow to automatically complete members. So those are really the two ways, either with the web scoring in the dashboard where if they visit a specific link, you can complete them, or via campaign flow. If data points change in your Salesforce, you can change the campaign member status and automatically complete them based on that Salesforce field. But good question. Any other questions that came up, Sharon?
We have one more, but I think we kind of covered it. How can I stop sending emails if someone donates? And I think we sort of covered that in the last one about completions. So if you mark someone as completed in a campaign, you will stop sending to them from that campaign.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that goes also same reason as what we just showed, how to complete members from a specific campaign. Perfect. Yeah, so this feature is pretty straightforward. If you don't see ABS in your Predictive eMaker yet, then please get in touch with us. It's something that we can add to your layout. Again, where you should see it is in the check send settings. You should have this segmentation box within your eMaker. Also, I think one last thing that I wanted to show that could be helpful is we have a report called Member Engagement Level Report. So sometimes, you're going to send out emails, and before creating a totally new email for a specific group, you might want to see how many people are even in this group. So if for example, only 5 people are in the group who did not click in the email, then you might as well group them with another another group so that you don't have to create a specific email just for that tiny group. And the way you can see how many or what actions people have been taking in your campaign is with this member engagement level report. So here you can specify a specific campaign. I just have this overall report open that shows all campaigns. But you could specify a specific campaign and see how many people clicked in the campaign versus completed versus opened as well. So you can mark this report to really help you, understand if it's worth sending to a specific group or not. Yes, anything else, Sharon, that you'd like to add?
Nope, and we've covered all the questions in the Q&A section.
Okay, sounds great. Well, we will send you all a recording of this training. If you do have more questions, feel free to contact us. You can contact our support team and they'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have, or you can also contact me as well at anita@predictive.cc. And yes, if you'd like to install it and it's not currently in your eMaker, just let us know as well. We'd be happy to add it to your Predictive package. Okay, it was great connecting with you all. I hope everything is going well, and I hope you will try out our new improved adaptive behavioral segmentation tool.
Thanks, Anita.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great day. Okay, bye.